and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. One of the victims of the December 11th outbreak of tornadoes was a drug recovery center in central Kentucky. 19 men were in the facility in Taylor County when the EF3 tornado ripped off its roof. The director says the men were lucky to have survived what happened, and they say it's amazing the damage was not worse. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more.
Inside the Lake Cumberland Recovery Center are clients dealing with their own personal storms.
They're already living an internal tornado every day of their life.
Then early on the morning of December 11th, the chaos became quite different for all of them.
He was so busy getting everyone else to the basement, he didn't make it to the basement.
That man survived the powerful storm along with all 18 others inside when the recovery center lost its roof.
And he dove under the big oak table that was right here in this area and rode out the storm hanging on to.
Several men were hurt, but it could have been so much worse.
And majority of the insulation and several things from the ceiling actually fell down on top of several of the clients.
Since then, volunteers from all over the state and other states have showed up to help clear debris and cut down some of the large trees that toppled over.
Maybe we'll be able to come back from this storm bigger and stronger and better, and just hanging on to faith of our community and our friends and all those that have helped us so far.
All the clients are currently staying at another facility in Somerset. In Taylor County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Lake Cumberland recovery officials say the monetary loss is not clear yet. First responders from across Kentucky are on the ground in western Kentucky helping with tornado recovery. Many agencies are making multiple visits. One of those that recently made their way back was the Georgetown Police Department, who said that it meant a lot to them to help out.
Obviously, they were very broken, and when I say broken in the sense of they literally lost everything. The town itself was destroyed, so they were very appreciative of all the help that we could give them.
Those who have been out west say the TV shows some of the devastation, but seeing it in person is exponentially worse, adding they will continue to make trips to western Kentucky to help out. In the aftermath of those deadly tornadoes, auction organizers with Kentucky Bourbon Benefit put out a call for donations, and individual collectors responded in turn by donating their prized bottles. Distilleries donated too, including rare single barrels fetching tens of thousands and more. Organizers passed their goal of $1 million in bids in just 48 hours.
We were flooded. We got so many donation requests that we had to start turning them down in order to focus on the auction.
Also contributing to the auction was the owner of Carr's Steakhouse in Mayfield. Destroyed by the tornado, the owner dug bottles of premium bourbon out of the rubble. A dozen of the donated, scratched, and battered offerings were attracting bids of $1,000 to $10,000.
I-64 camera in Moorhead this afternoon showing us what we've been seeing around the region for quite a while. Quiet conditions. Outside, we continue to see the sunset, at least behind the camera. I-64 there. You see the clouds have been out of the way since the midday hours, and we're in for a pretty nice night. Upper 30s around much of the region. Look at the dew point of 18, so it is chilly outside, and that dew point means we're not dealing with a whole lot of moisture, keeping the clouds at bay. Temperatures almost universally in the upper 30s right now. A few mid-30s already sneaking in. Moorhead and Irvin at this hour. And Wise is already at freezing. Satellite and radar keeping things quiet around the region this afternoon. From a regional perspective even, you have to go up into Ohio and Pennsylvania up toward Cleveland, get in on some lake effect snow up in the eastern Great Lakes. But other than that, we've kept it on the peaceful side around here. And that's going to continue as we continue through the nighttime hours. Keep that WYMT weather app handy, as we're going to be dropping down into the 20s. Yes, the 20s for tonight. Christmas chill out there. But it won't stick around for long. I'll have the latest on that coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. A major breakthrough in a nearly half-century cold case after Fayette County Coroner Gary Ginn identified remains found 5 years ago as those of Martha Helmick. She disappeared in 1973 while traveling with her sister Flora and a man named John Edwin Keaton. They were on the way to a Keaton family reunion from Virginia to Jackson County, Kentucky. Jen says it's likely they accidentally drowned in the Kentucky River.
What we think probably happened was he drove down there, the water, and it was dark and the water was glistening. The water was probably black, like black ice.
Helmick's family requested Coroner Jen and Lexington Fire Captain Christopher Warren escort her body home to Virginia. That will mark the end of this years-long process. We'll have more on this story coming up tonight at 6. Well, Colorado officials are facing criticism after a truck driver was sentenced to more than 100 years in prison last week. Rogel Aguera Medeiros was charged on 4 counts of vehicular homicide and 23 other charges after his truck ran into a line of vehicles last year, killing 4 people. Aguilera Medeiros received all minimum sentences, but Colorado's law requires them to be served consecutively. Gage Evans, whose husband died in the crash, says sentencing laws should be reviewed, but the sentence itself should not be commuted.
He was found guilty of reckless behavior that killed my husband. That was the most important thing to me.
Colorado Governor Jared Polis said his office has received a clemency request and he's reviewing the sentence. As of this morning, more than 4.5 million people have signed a petition to reduce Aguilera Medeiros' sentence. More than 2.5 million Americans struggling with paying rent have gotten help from the government's rental assistance program. You may remember a year ago, Congress approved billions of dollars in COVID-19 pandemic assistance. About 80% of the first portion of the money will be spent by the end of the year. But though the program has been successful, not all who need help have received it. According to an analysis by the National Equity Atlas, roughly 4.7 million households were behind on their rent in October. The SpaceX Dragon cargo spacecraft docked at the International Space Station early Wednesday morning after leaving Earth Tuesday morning. The Dragon is there on a resupply mission, delivering new science experiments. Astronauts on board the space station will soon be looking into bioprinting bandages, improving delivery of cancer drugs, lunar laundromats, and the growing of roots, shoots, and leaves in space. Dragon will spend about a month attached to the space station before returning to Earth with cargo and research. One Pike County animal rescue has welcomed in a new barnyard friend from out of state. WIMT's Jordan Mullins has more from 3 Mile Creek Farms and the story behind Snowy, the Christmas cow.
3 Mile Creek Farms has welcomed in a new addition to the family.
This boy, all he asked for Christmas was a cow. And so it worked out perfect when we got to rescue a cow. So he got his Christmas cow for Christmas.
Snowy, the Christmas cow, was named by Elkins, and his 3-year-old grandson, Zay, came to the farm at less than a week old, rescued from another farm out of state.
She come off of a big farm. I think these people probably traded animals or horse traders, basically.
The animals Elkins rescues come from harsh conditions. The Elkins rely solely on special events and donations to feed and shelter them, as well as for veterinary care.
We'll have like our pumpkin patch, our Christmas tree farm, we have vintage markets, we have just any kind of event we can think of, and plus we have fundraisers like Facebook fundraisers and different types of fundraisers.
So Elkins and Snowy are thanking those who give with an open heart.
Honestly, we wouldn't be able to do this without those events and the donations that people send us.
Ensuring these animals are taken care of.
She's got a good life here forever and always now.
And have a good home for many Christmas seasons to come. In Pike County, Jordan Mullins, WIMT Mountain News.
Elkins said Snowy was around 40 pounds when he went to rescue her, and now, just 1 week later, she's well over 100 pounds. Elkins also says, though the work to raise a calf is tough, it's rewarding to see that Snowy is happy and healthy. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a record number of people quit their jobs this fall. How a labor shortage could help you make more money at work.
And not much blue on the map as we head towards Christmas on the radar or on the temperature map. We'll have the latest on a mild holiday.